Hello everyone. Back again with film recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of a horror thriller films from 2012, titled The Collection. Before we get to the storyline, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and great day. Without further ado, let's get straight to the storyline. This movie is a sequel to The Collection that I recapped in my previous video. So if you haven't watched the first one, I suggest you see it first before watching this recap, or you can just skip ahead to this one. The film opens with a little girl named Elena, sitting inside a car next to her father. The father consoles her about the recent passing of her mother, and promises to always be there for her from this point on. Right when another vehicle crashes into theirs. We are then shown the movie's intro, which features various news coverage about how the collector is wanted by the police, and is responsible for the disappearance of 50 people. The latest person he took was our favorite ex-convict, Arkin. We then skip to the future, where Elena is now a fully grown young woman. She puts on her hearing aid, and receives a call from her boyfriend, Brian, who tells her that he won't be able to hang out with her tonight. Just as the call ends, Elena receives another call from her friend, Missy, who invites her to go to an exclusive party. Elena lovingly gives her sleeping father a kiss and quietly exits the house, before entering Missy's car where she finds Missy, and her brother Josh there. Once they arrive, the three of them walk down a sketchy alley, and gets past an even sketchier doorman that only lets them through once they utter the party's password. The party inside is nothing short of wild and festive, but Elena's celebration is cut short, because it doesn't take long before she finds her boyfriend Brian, among the crowd, making out with a random girl. Devastated, she punches him in the face, and retreats to the bathroom. Unbeknownst to her, there's already a trap set up in the club, and we can see that she nearly triggers a tripwire installed on the floor. As she enters the bathroom, she comes across the iconic box we've gotten to know in the previous movie. Elena wastes no time before opening the box. As expected, a very bloody-looking Arkin tumbles out. But unfortunately, setting Arkin free sets off a very elaborate chain reaction installed by the collector, which activates a deadly trap that consists of a set of huge rotating blades right above the dance floor. The rotating blades swoop through the crowd, killing dozens in a blink of an eye, including Missy's brother Josh. Back inside the bathroom, Elena, who is freaked out by the sight of a bloody Arkin, exits the bathroom, only to find an even more horrific sight once several partygoers activated the tripwire that she almost ran into earlier. Elena then tries running towards another direction, and comes across Missy, who is now trapped inside a cage with a sinking ceiling, with the collector standing atop it. Watching her best friend get crushed to death is the only thing she can do at this point in time. Meanwhile, Arkin frees himself from his restraints, and exits to the hall to look for an escape, right when he sees Elena. The collector apprehends Elena, and Arkin, who fears for his life, jumps out the window. Elena gets stuffed into the red box, while Arkin finds his arm and leg broken from the fall. The collector then stares down from the window, and Arkin doesn't waste any time. He takes this chance to make a break for it. On the next scene, Arkin gets rushed to the hospital. The medics take note of a series of self-inflicted cuts on his arm. The chaotic atmosphere soon overwhelms Arkin, causing him to fight the medics off, who inject him with a sedative. Right then, a group of police officers storm inside the room and handcuff him. While unconscious, Arkin begins having flashbacks about his traumatic encounter with the collector, and he wakes up in a hospital bed with his wife by his side. The wife then takes a greeting card off the desk that ominously says,
"Get well soon. Can't wait to meet the family."
Instantly realizing the message was from the collector, Arkin asks his wife to go hide over at her mom's, and to not tell anyone about where she's going. Later that night, Arkin gets a visit from a man named Lucillo, who introduces himself as someone working for Elena's father. Lucillo wants to recruit Arkin to join his team in finding and killing the collector.
What's the plan?
After Arkin agrees, Lucillo makes a call to Elena's father to confirm Arkin's participation, and Lucillo promises to bring her home tonight.
Find her, sir.
We are then taken to a flashback scene, which is none other than the aftermath of the car accident in the beginning of the movie. Elena is stuck in a slowly burning car, until Lucillo comes to her aid. Back to the present, Elena is now stuck inside the box. She then pokes a hole to look out, and sees a man chained to a table with the collector next to him. The collector cuts off the man's tongue, and puts it inside a jar. He then clips a gruesome mask on his face and dragging him away. Luckily, the collector leaves her alone for now. On the other side of the story, Arkin sits with the rest of Lucillo's men to discuss their game plan. Arkin tells them that he's willing to help them find the collector, but he refuses to go inside the building. Lucillo agrees with these terms. After settling the deal, Arkin tells the team that while the collector held him captive and was driving him back to his lair, Arkin drew cuts on his arm to mark every turn. Hence, starting from the spot where he is being held captive, he now should be able to locate the collector's hideout. The team proceed to gear up, and uses Arkin's guide to take them to the collector. Afterwards, they arrive up at an abandoned hotel, and Arkin helps them pick the door lock. Meanwhile, inside the box, Elena decides to take her bra out, and uses the hook to unlatch the box. She then finds another box in the room, and moves to open it. Horrified, Elena tries to exit through the door but finds it locked, and then all of a sudden, she hears a set of footsteps approaching. Luckily, Elena finds a hiding spot behind a set of jars on the shelf. Meanwhile, the collector, who knows she is hiding somewhere, decides to unleash huge spiders to roam free in the room. It doesn't take long before the spiders find Elena. But then, the house alarm is triggered by Arkin, and the rest of the team breaking in, which saves Elena for now. Outside, Arkin is in for a surprise because, as it turns out, Lucillo is forcing him to step inside with them.
It's the same deal, Arkin.
After being threatened, Arkin relents and steps inside the building with them. Unbeknownst to the team, the collector is watching the group through the CCTV cameras. He then puts his iconic mask on and gets ready. Meanwhile, Elena finds a way to escape. She tries to pry open the vent and crawls inside. Elena then comes across the collector's ferocious dogs but keeps going. Back to the rescue team, unbeknownst to the others, one of them gets ambushed by the collector and gets brutally stabbed to death. Meanwhile, Arkin, who is looking around, comes across this. As it turns out, the assailant was the same guy who we saw chained to a table in an earlier scene. They unmask the guy to assess him, and conclude based on the way his pupils looked that the guy was drugged out of his mind. Not only that, they discover a pile of mutilated human limbs nearby, and then all of a sudden, more and more of these drugged, zombie-like people come at them, and the team proceed to kill them one by one, until they are forced to escape to another room. One of the team members attempts calling for backup, but they are unable to receive a signal because they are underground. On the other side of the building, Elena climbs out of the vent, and finds yet another box with a woman inside. We learn that the woman's name is Abby, and she reluctantly follows Elena out of the room. Back to the team, they stumble upon an injured man who's mumbling about not making it in the collection.
Didn't you make the collection?
A bomb was strapped onto the man, and to make things even worse, yet another member of the team gets killed by another trap. While the rest of the team stand around trying to process what just happened, Arkin slips away and sneaks his way through a wall lined with spikes. He arrives inside a room with flickering lights, while the collector sneaks up behind him. Elena treads through the halls with Abby, who begins freaking out right when she discovers that Elena wears a hearing aid. According to Abby, the collector does not spare those with disabilities. She begins yelling, which draws the collector's attention. Elena runs for her life when she sees the psycho. The collector stops pursuing when he sees that Elena has disappeared, but she is actually hiding on the ceiling. Meanwhile, Arkin enters the exact hall that Elena just escaped from. He tries every door but finds all of them locked, and even gets his hand cut by another trap. He then trips into another trap where blades swing at him. Arkin finds a chute with human remains below. He is then forced to hide inside the chute to avoid one of Lucello's men. Unfortunately, Arkin's grip slips and he falls right on top of the pile of dead bodies. He climbs back up before more of the zombie-like people get to him, and continues to explore. On the other side of the story, Elena comes across a hallway lined with bear traps and carefully makes her way through. Arkin stumbles upon the collector's display room, which is filled with morbidly arranged, preserved body parts. He then runs into a woman nailed to the wall but couldn't help her, because the collector enters the room right after. He slits the woman's throat before leaving again. Arkin picks open a locked door, and proceeds to another room, while on the other side of the building, Elena finds an opening on the wall.
Somebody help me!
Meanwhile, Arkin finally gets ambushed by the team. They pin him to the ground and try to tie him up, while the collector looms in the background. One of the guys is hooked by the collector. He gets down and fights everyone. The only woman team member whose name is Paz gets hooked on a trap line and gets dragged away, while everybody else dies except for Lucello and Arkin. The collector manages to get back to the top and leaves. The two men begin to argue with Arkin, insisting that they should focus on finding a way out of here, but Lucello is still determined to find Elena. Abby suddenly appears and says she knows where Elena is. Abby leads the way, and the two men follow her, but soon after, they hear a scream from the distance, and so does Elena in the other room. Though it's clearly a dumb decision, the three walk towards the scream. Lucello hesitates because he's sure it's a trap to lure them, but Arkin, who has a heart of gold, insists that they should help Paz. Apparently, even Elena is drawn to the scream. Arkin and Abby wait in the hall, while Lucello walks in first. As it turns out, Lucello has been walking towards a speaker playing a live voice recording of Paz, who is still alive somewhere in the building. On the other hand, it is Elena instead who finds the real Paz, and now can be heard trying to save her. Arkin, who realizes this is indeed a trap, shouts to get out of there. Arkin breaks the glass, and beyond the mirror, they find Elena and Paz. Elena then guides the group to the exhaust fan she came across earlier. With 2 bullets left in Lucello's gun, Arkin comes with an insane plan. Arkin explains that when someone gets shot, the police would naturally be called to the scene. And as it turns out, Arkin is right, the police and medics arrive in no time. He then fires another shot to let the police know exactly where they're at. But then, Abby betrays them. Paz, who is frustrated, punches her, making her stagger backwards, and accidentally fall into a trap which instantly kills her. The collector walks in the room, and begins shooting at them. The psycho then takes Elena with him as he leaves. In the aftermath, Arkin and Paz come up to Lucello, but the man is stuck. If he tries getting up, a set of blades above would crush him to death. Arkin and Paz are forced to leave him behind. Outside, a SWAT team has been summoned to the scene, and are getting ready to get in. Arkin and Paz find Elena strapped to a table and moves to save her, but they are then trapped inside a cage. The collector walks in the room victoriously, and we learn that there are barrels of gasoline sitting in the corner of the room. Which makes it concerning when the collector does this. He then leaves the room. Not just that, he proceeds to pour gasoline all over the building. Realizing what the collector is trying to do, the three desperately try to pry open the cage, but the knife they're using to do it falls to the ground. Running out of time, Arkin comes up with an insane idea once again.
I need you to step on my forearm. I need you to re-break it.
Right then, the collector set fire to the building. With his arm now re-broken, Arkin is able to angle it down just enough to open the cage. Once they break free, Paz realigns Arkin's hand before they proceed to escape by going down the chute. Our three protagonists make it to the display room, right when the collector ambushes them. Unfortunately, Paz gets killed while Elena and Arkin get beaten down. And just when it seems like all hope is lost, Lucillo somehow manages to survive. He valiantly faces off against the Collector, and even manages to wound the Psycho, but then Lucillo lost. Seeing this, the furious Arkan steps in his place, and finishes the job. Arkan drops the guy down the chute, before dropping the burning paper. While this is going on, Elena screams for help, and manages to draw the attention of several firemen right outside the door. While the firemen try to break through the sealed door, Arkan gets trapped in the fire, but Elena is determined to save him. She reaches for Arkan and together, the two head toward the door. Later on, Elena's father arrives at the scene, and she moves to embrace him. When Arkan decides to walk around, he stumbles upon the Collector's mask, but no body, signifying that the Collector might still be alive. We then move to the next scene, where a man enters his home, and opens the radio. However, the music on his radio suddenly gets switched. He then walks around curiously to check things out. As it turns out, the intruder is Arkan, who went out of his way to trace the Collector's whereabouts and has now found him. Arkan is now out for vengeance, but we are unable to see the Collector's face. In the end, Arkan attacks the unknown man, and pushes him inside the red box. This is where the movie ends. Okay guys. That's all the recap of the Collection 2012. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.